Hello guys, my name is Joy Oluchi. I am a storyteller and a traveler. I am currently in Badagry as a tourist, here to explore the city and learn from this very important historical place. The place I am about to visit is the Mobi royal family original slave trade relics. To learn more about the history of this Atlantic slave trade. But before I go in, let me give you a simple explanation of this history. One thing you should know is that the Atlantic slave trade is a very delicate story. It has many sides, many voices, and many experiences. What I am sharing here is a general explanation based on what is widely accepted by historians around the world. Before the Atlantic slave trade, slavery already existed in many societies in what we know now as Nigeria. Afterwards, some captured people were kept as slaves. Some people also became slaves because of debts. They lived within households. They could marry, have children, and build families after many years. Some even gained freedom. Children of slaves were not always slaves. This was not plantation slavery, and it was not permanent in the way it later became. About 600 years ago, Portugal was searching for new opportunities. They wanted a sea route to Asia, gold and spices, new trade opportunities, power among European nations. At that time, land routes to Asia were controlled by Middle Eastern empires. So Portugal decided to travel by sea. As Portuguese sailors moved along the West African coast, they discovered gold in many areas, especially around the present-day Ghana, pepper along the coast, ivory and other valuable goods. At first, they were trading, not looking for slaves. As exploration continued, Europeans later reached the Americas. There, they discovered very large lands, extremely fertile soil, perfect climate for sugarcane, cotton, tobacco, and coffee. These lands could bring huge profits. The first workers on these lands were the indigenes of the Americas, but many of them died in large numbers because of disease. They had no immunity to these diseases. Because of this, the labor force collapsed. Europeans then needed new workers, and that was when they chose Africans, because Africa could be reached by sea through the Atlantic Ocean. Africans were strong and experienced farmers. Africans had better resistance to tropical diseases. Africans were used to hot climates similar to the Americas. This was how the focus moved to Africa. They came through the same Atlantic Ocean along the West African coast. They docked ships at coastal towns, built trading ports and forts, avoided deep inland areas because of those diseases and resistance. At first, they traded normal goods such as clothes, beads, alcohol, metal tools in exchange for palm oil, pepper, ivory, gold. Later, Europeans introduced guns and ammunition. At that time, there were wars between communities and kingdoms. Guns changed the balance of power. Some chiefs and kings accepted trade because guns gave military advantage. Wealth increased influence. They feared enemies getting weapons first. Europeans promised protection and trade benefits. Many traders did not fully understand what slavery overseas was like. Some resisted, some refused, some were pushed into it out of fear and pressure. People were gathered through wars between kingdoms, raids on villages, kidnapping, punishment for debts or crime, betrayal by neighbors. These captured were tied together, chained, forced to walk long distance, taken to coastal markets to be sold. Many died before reaching the sea. Major areas involved in what is now Nigeria included the Badagry, Lagos, Benin coastal routes, Bonny, Calabar, Browse, Old Oyo routes to the coast. These places were used because they were close to the sea. Ships could dock easily. Trade routes already existed. From there, people were taken across the ocean on a journey called the Middle Passage. Millions suffered. Many did not survive. The Atlantic slave trade lasted for about 400 years before it was finally stopped. This is a simple explanation of what is believed to have happened. Again, my name is Joy Oluchi, and I have just arrived at the Mobi royal family original relics to learn more about this history. I will see you in my next video.